What a day. 10 weeks, man. 10 weeks we've been in here. Can you imagine that? 10 weeks of a course. Of course, we missed a day or two. It's okay because it's about staying consistent. Sometimes we trip up, sometimes we can't make it. Good morning, Brian. And, this whole series, this 10-week series here has been about being the best that you can be, which means being more toward being your authentic self in life. And for 10 weeks, I've come in here twice a week, with the exception, I think, one time I missed, or, my life happens and I can't always be here. You know, what's important is we can't let life keep us from living. And as you're born, and in your adolescence you're living, you're having fun, and then life happens, and with life we have adversity, things that go wrong, the worries that we have. So we grow older, our needs change, and we seem to forget that we're a living being, that we actually have to tend to how we feel about ourselves and how our mind is. So moving forward, part of moving forward is reflecting back. So, but letting things go, knowing where we are in our life, moving forward with the way that we think, with being resilient. That's what's important. So the lesson for week 10 is to move forward. It's okay to have problems in life, but you can't let your problems become your life. Life is a bag of reactions, or it's a bag of common sense. So I think starting anytime to be good to yourself would be to help realize moments that you really enjoyed being you. And sometimes we don't let ourselves enjoy that because we don't feel that we deserve it, or there's just too much going on to enjoy it. You know, there's a there's a race that sometimes goes on in our life, and I think at the end of it sometimes there's a false sense of what is it that we're to collect. So a lot of things I feel that people think that they need to collect, but these aren't things that can't stay inside you or that you can't take forward with you when you go into the spirit world. So we want to pay attention to what we're after, what the old saying of keeping your eye on the prize, right? Well, I think that the prize it's in here, it's in us. So going forward, we're going to reflect back and think about this great 10 weeks that we got to stay together to learn a little bit of something. And hopefully some things that we've talked about and done resonate with you, not for my sake, but for you, just being self-aware, being self-aware. So we were on one of the weeks that I thought was fascinating was making a goal, but making knowledge and thinking goals on how you want to think and how you want to talk to yourself. These goals are important in your life of what you're going to do for you. And why they're important is because they're focused on the center of what it is that you want to become, and uh, where you need to give yourself almost a release, a pardon from all your problems, a pardon from all the times that you bullied yourself, and let yourself know that it's okay. You got to give yourself a break and enjoy your life. And there's a lot of distractions out there, and life being the main distraction from living. And when you're, I think the analogy I'm trying to make is when we're in kindergarten, think of the rules. Do unto others you want to do to yourself. Be kind. There's a lot of rules there, right? And compared to a 27-year-old that's now learning life out on their own, the whole thought process changes because the 27-year-old's living life, but is the kindergartner really living the life? You see what I'm trying to connect? Um, we can't let life get in the way of our living. And what I mean by that is, watching this course or feeding yourself some information on how to forgive yourself, to give yourself the grace that you deserve, to find a part of your day that is tranquil, that gives you peace. That's what life should be about, to connect with your higher power, to give yourself time in the morning. I'm busy right now. I am too busy to do this, but I'm doing this. And I'm doing this not just for me, but for the people that like to come in here on this 10 weeks to see here. And I'm not asking for kudos for that or anything great. But it's making the time for yourself, making the time for yourself, and then feeling the difference. Feeling the difference, and not to intensely make time, but feel the difference about the little bits of time you can give yourself to reflect back, to move forward. What does that mean? It means that I can reflect back to the things I should have been enjoying that I didn't because I was too caught up in all of this cockadoodle bullshit in my life. And I gave it focus. This has never left with this board since I've made it over here. Your feelings and your thoughts and your actions are your reality. They are. That's your reality, man. It's what you're thinking, it's what you're feeling, and it's how you're acting. But not just out there, inside here. Inside here. Recognize what it is that you need. Pull yourself forward. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Wanting certain things is okay. Doing certain things is okay. But what are you telling yourself? What are you going through and telling yourself about things? And what lessons have you learned? Sometimes in life, we get lessons prior to getting things. And it's just how life is. We learn a lesson. We either see it or we don't. So there's things that have happened to us that are lessons that God wanted us to learn. And they were there. He doesn't play any games. Our mind is what plays the games on us. It's our mind. So what are we going to do about that? Well, what we're going to do about that is we're going to reflect. We're going to reflect on certain things, and we're going to find what impedes us from having a good time, what impedes us from mentally growing, what impedes us from just having the moment and the mindset in our moment to ourselves, that we own it. We own our thoughts, and we own our feelings. We want to establish good boundaries and have intentional activities in our life. We had a 12-week show that was living intentionally. Intentionally means that we were living on purpose, that we are going to choose how we think and feel and what we're going to do with our thoughts and our actions, and how we were going to spend time on deliberately thinking out the day, from where it is we eat, where it is we go, what it is we do, but most of all, deliberately and intentionally paying attention to how we think, what our thoughts are, because we know that that's what creates our reality. We know that the way that we think, and this is science, this isn't some shit I made up. We know the way that we think and what's occupied up here is going to be our life. And you won't be some optimistic, delusional person. No, you won't be. But being kind, forgiveness, some of the things that we learned even in kindergarten and school, holding your own hand, being good and giving yourself the grace and the mercy that you deserve. Not listening so much to the critic in your head, but reflecting back to move forward of all of the accomplishments that you've made. And most of your greatest accomplishments had to start with some type of failure. So failure has to exist to know what success is. And multiple failures sometimes is a form of success. So it's how you look at it and it's how you think. That's what it comes down to. I'm messing with my computer because for some reason, I've been out here since 6:55 trying to get either online or onto on here, and I have no screening or anything. I think that I'm on live, but I don't have like messaging. This is like weird. But I think I'm recording. So we want to be good to ourselves and we want to move forward. And that's what the 10th week's about. Moving forward from everything that we learned about. Living our lives the way that we see fit, that makes us happy. Not to let other people interrupt us. Remember our week, one of the cool weeks of that we had were distractions. Social media distractions, phone distractions, noise distractions, all this noise, gossip, what people think you need, watching crazy videos, AI shit, not knowing what's real, what's not real. Let me tell you what is real. What's real is the emotions that you're feeling right now about yourself and your life, and you need to organize them and categorize them into fuel. Is what you need to organize it into the different fuel that it's going to take to run your life. Because there's a lot of things out there that'll take your fuel away. And it's going to be a lot of times your own thought that's going to take your fuel away. And your own process of giving away things. I now have, okay, here we go. Hey, Brian. Well, I have 10 people in here. Thanks for being in here. I have not had my little thing down here. I have people in here. I want to welcome everybody to our 10th week of 10 weeks. If it's your first time in here, you can always go to our link tree on my profile and watch all of these if you like them. So I had a little hard time this morning just getting into the internet and on the TikTok, but 10 week moving forward, and moving forward would be a sense of reflecting back. So sometimes you got to go a little bit backward to see what happened. That is organizing our thoughts when we are, is that better, Brian, on the music? When we are journaling or we have an issue and we can't really put that on anybody else. We're the ones responsible for how we feel, for what ticks us off or makes us, that's good, or it is still loud. Brian, sorry about that. I'm trying to get organized here. When we are researching ourselves, make yourself your study. Become a professor of your life. When you're a professor of your life, you're going to go ahead and do some research. When you're your own scientist, professor, Brian, I cannot at all hear that at all. I don't know how the phone can. When you're the professor and the study of you make your life about you. If you have mentors, that's fine. But don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself or think that you should have things, because that grapples away from the feeling of gratitude. So a lot of things you have now in your life that you should be grateful for. And when you are looking for gratitude and finding things that you can be grateful for in life, then your life becomes abundant of things you're recognizing as gratitude. when you're trying to find what's wrong and blaming things on people in your life, or this isn't fair, that's not right, now your focus on life is negativity, and now you've created a reality in your life through mental thinking and habitual mental thinking of just doom. So when you are letting life get in the way of living, that means you're just thinking too damn much about the life aspect of it. We're here to live. We are here to live. Good morning, Farm Girl. We are here to live. Not life, but to live our human experiences, right? Through life, right? That's what it's all about. So when we're moving forward from this 10-week study here, when we're moving forward, we're reflecting back to go forward, to pick up the pieces of what is good about us, to remember that. And if you watch this program and journal at the same time, and have, a sidebar of what's good, an affirmation or something of what's good in your life that keeps you upbeat, then that's what we focus on. We focus on what makes us feel better. If you like ice cream, what makes you think about it to go back to it? Because it's good, right? Now, when we're good to ourselves and we start having good mental feelings, even when we're dealing with adversity in life, or sadness in life, or despair in life, we can't let that take away the light of our living, because things are going to happen. So when we're moving forward, we had to catch it when we're in a moment of whether it's despair or anything like that. Good morning, Jennifer. How you doing this morning? You want to remember the light, and it's right here inside that's shining. When we had one of our good weeks when we were introducing ourselves to becoming the best you, we had this 10-week right after a 12-week living not on autopilot, being authentic with ourselves, not for other people. I think that the best thing that we could do is make the best of your free time. Make the best of your free time to live your life. And like I said, don't let life keep you from living. So there's a lot of emotional triggers and busy schedules and a lot of noise and things out there that, I don't have time to do this. I got all of this going on. I'm too busy to do that. I don't like that book. This person said that. My car needs work. My yard needs mowed. Okay, just relax. You can accomplish one thing at a time, but first in line is you. What you first need to make time for is you. Now, and I'm going to tell you something. I make time to do this show, and in that 10 weeks, I think I missed one, and it had 1.5. But on the days that I'm here, I make that time happen. This is a crucial, Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to 8. That's like the most crucial time for my company to do stuff. That's when things are going and the day has started. But I'm more important than what I do, and you're more important than what you do. And what you do is not as important as who you are. So if you say, I can't make the time, then some other reality, false reality, has overtaken your life, and life is not letting you live. So you do have the time. And that's what I try to help people recognize. At the end of the day, when you're clocking out from work, but what if I'm forced to be someone I'm not? Well, that's a damn good question, because sometimes we feel like somebody else is living our life. This is where you want to find some defaults, some autopilot you might be on, and start deliberately making plans in your life. Wall Street, that's a great question, because I at one time felt somebody was living my life. So and it's not through force, it's usually through our mental repetition and our habitual thinking of what it is we need to do. And sometimes we do let life get in the way of living, which are two different things. So what you want to do is just assure yourself in a firm way that you have control. And if you say that every day, you'll start feeling the benefit of positive thinking, of journaling, of knowing that there's noise out there. And then eventually what used to upset you, you just let it go. Because you realize that it's your reactions. You have a bag of reactions. There's things that upset you. It's about you, not about the guy cutting it in front of traffic. He's going somewhere too. Not about what somebody said. That's just their opinion. And sometimes we get mad at people and things and hold ourselves hostage, and they don't even know. They don't even know that you're mad at them. So, but it feels more like a coping mechanism when it will bring more attention to pressure. It feels more like a coping mechanism when it will bring more attention to pressure. And, so knowing when you are journaling, so our coping mechanisms come from childhood, and we deal with them all the way through when we get over it. And people have different type of coping mechanisms, and staying positive in life. And when I'm talking about moving forward and reflecting back, it's those coping mechanisms that are keeping you in autopilot. When you deliberately and intentionally write more and journal more and study and write down your emotions and how you feel, you can bring yourself back to you can definitely redo your whole nervous system through your thinking and your thoughts. And that's some good thinking. And I'm glad that to have some questions in there like that, because when you're living on autopilot, you're only living on your coping mechanisms. And so to think that a way to cope is with reason. A way to cope is with what's good for you. And sometimes we're going to find just that we carry a lot of weeds in us. And you're always welcome for the words. I'll tell you, that's some good questioning in there. But your life is subjective to you, so it's different for me or anybody in here, because we all live a different life. We've all had different experiences, and we have an opinion, and those opinions create coping mechanisms, because these are narratives that we write as a kid. As a kid, some of us have a really heavy sense of realizing when there's doom, of realizing when there's danger, because we lived in it. We saw it. We saw an angry, upset parent or a caregiver, or had to deal with and cope with people that were maybe alcoholics or this or that. But this is more about not just that, but this is more about being your real self, your authentic self, and not comparing yourself to people, and listening to the way that you think about yourself. When you get up in the morning, think of some things you're grateful for. At the end of the day, what went right? Just because one thing goes wrong doesn't mean it's going to be a bad day. So, invite yourself to live your life. Invite yourself. Introduce yourself to, hey, this is going to be my new way of thinking. I had an analogy that we were talking about last week. Is sometimes once we get these coping mechanisms, and I'm so glad that he brought that up, then our minds start to close. It's like an old musty house where the doors and windows haven't been open forever. And our minds are like that. We got to bring in new ideas, air it out. Just air it out. Bring in some ideas and try them out to see what works for you. So 10 weeks, 10 of 10. Fridays are always the best day because it's Friday, and I'll watch this sometime between now and Friday. So if you think back and all those that have been here, the 10 weeks, we've had different topics: introduction to personal growth, identifying fears and limiting beliefs, setting goals and intentions. And it's just been really fun. Developing a growth mindset, building resilience, cultivating self-awareness, the role of mindfulness and well-being. That one's important, because the role of mindfulness for your well-being. So if you think my life is crazy, I don't have time for all this, and you probably need to be more mindful of that. Write it down, and you tell me what you think is crazy, because you're going to write something down, and it's just going to be on your little No, and you're going to look at it and say, this isn't that much. I'm looking at this and yeah, I got this project due at work. I got some things. Things are manageable when you write them down. They ease your mind won't race. So if at night you want to write down everything you need to do this weekend or everything on your day off or what I'm going to do tomorrow and the order that I'm going to do it by the priority that they are, when you go to sleep, it's all set and done and ready. You have your little schedule book, so you don't have to race it. And some of us have to take care of other people. You got to get your kids ready. You got to come out to the bus. Well, it's summer now. Get them to the daycare or do whatever. So we have life goes on. So reflect back to what didn't go right, rewrite it, redo your narratives, and move forward with your life. And have good thoughts. I think that really the importance of having a good thought, intentionally living, is the best way to live. To live intentionally, to live on purpose, to not let things, accidents will happen, adversity is going to happen, but intentionally doing your best, not giving up, not giving up, going home to a nice, comfortable chair or to your house at night. That's the one favorite you can do. So if you keep your life in order, you at least have that to go to. So when you're looking at your life and you're wanting to change a couple of things in it, what is it you want to change and why? And if you think that it's because this is a problem or this person's a problem or it's your whole life is just set up on just reactions and the way that what lens you're viewing it through. So there's a lot of it that's really good. It's just what you're telling yourself about situations. It's really us that create the the demons we have in our life. It's us that feed them or hang out with them or whatever we do. So it's just something to look at as we go forward into life to make our life easier. And as we get older, we're going to need less and we're going to know more. And I'm not saying we're automatically going to get the peace of mind we're looking for, because to have a life of peace, an intentional life, it takes effort. It takes applying yourself and realizing that I want to have more peace in my life. Then this is going to take effort. It's going to take work, and it's going to take journaling, and it's going to take really listening to yourself without the noise. It's going to be taking the time to propel yourself forward and looking back at all of the things that impede you or all the harm you did to yourself through your self critic. Just let it go. Just let it go. That's all there is to it. And staying in the moment, looking at the life around you is what you want to do. Look at the life around you and enjoy it and have fun with it. Moving forward is moving on. And we don't like to stay in places that we're not comfortable in. But sometimes our mind gets into a repetitive, habitual way of thinking, and we'll stay there. We'll stay there in that doom, or we'll stay there in that worry, or we'll stay there in a relationship, or we stay there with something because it now just becomes so you get used to it. You're unintentionally dealing with things that you intentionally wouldn't deal with if they came up today. So sometimes it grows on us, and we are only the people that can fix that. No one's gonna. There's not a new life fairy that's gonna knock on your door, say, "Hey, I'm gonna take away your worries, your thoughts of today, and everything's gonna be okay." It doesn't work that way, and and it's not like this heavy work that you go and read every book and just start writing and journaling. What it has to do with is you decide that I'm tired of having this issue or these thoughts, and then you start journaling, you start taking the steps, you move forward and away from that, and you change the habit and the way that you think. It happens faster than you think, and you start to feel the benefits of it right away. You'll be less stressed. Your mind won't race. You'll feel more in control, and your life will be more intense because you're getting more of what you want. And when you're focusing on more of what you want, and you're focusing on gratitude, and you're being mindful, you're building boundaries, you start to feel it. You start to grip what the universe is going to give you, what you're looking for. It's out there. And when you are working on it in an everyday way, good morning, Norma. Every day when you're working on what it is you want, then you will get it. You will be able to get it. I'm sorry that you were crying all night. Now there's emotions and feelings that we have, and when emotions come in, you have to feed them to keep them to going. They go away in about 90 seconds. You can even count it down and bring yourself back to being grounded. Sad things are going to happen in the life to us, and that's what I mean by you can't let life keep you from living. You have the right to go on. You have the right to be happy, and you have the right to produce more joy in your life. And you do this by recognizing the joy that already exists, by recognizing what it is that makes you happy, what it is that made you laugh. And when you're reflecting back about failures and you want to move forward in your life, it's going to be the process of journaling, writing stuff down, staying mindful of yourself, and staying active in your emotions and your feelings, and staying regulated. And this isn't something that you eat. This isn't a church you go to or anything. This is something that's within you. That's within you. And almost in fact, and I didn't know this until probably in my late 40s, early 50s, is almost everybody's their own genie. And when you really polish up the inside of you, anything that you just kind of wish you had, when you start working on it, it all starts little by little. You start getting it. You start getting the advantages that you thought that you would never get, because the advantages you're looking for in life, you had to start putting effort into it. You had to start working at it, and you get a little bit of taste of it, and then you want more. Then you figure out how to cultivate and manifest a life that you want to live, and it all has to do with the way that you're thinking. And not just that, it has to do with the way you feel about yourself and with your confidence. And realize that I built my whole life to where it is now mainly through my failures, recognizing how those failures happened and what made them fail. And you know what? 99.9% of it was the way that I thought, not just about myself, but about other people, comparing myself, instead of having mentors and figuring out how to make this happen. I would compare and feel less, not realizing all these things around me that had to be grateful for. So it's all in the mindset. It's all in how you think. It's all in how you're taking your life. Your thoughts are feelings that turn into actions that turn into your reality. So it's plain and simple. And you have to realize that this is your journey, and your fuel for this journey comes from being mindful, not listening to distractions, not people pleasing, not going out of your way for others. And sometimes you can do that out of kindness. I'm not saying don't be kind, but you have to be kind to yourself. When you're on an airline and they, like, if the case of oxygen, if the mask falls above you, put yours on before you help somebody else. You got to love yourself before you love somebody. You got to help yourself before you help somebody. You got to take care of your schedule before doing them a favor. And if you're caught up into some people pleasing and can you do this for me? Can you have that? No is one sentence. And if you have problems with no, you can start with little things by telling people, hey, can you help us this Saturday? I can give you 15 minutes. I can give you 30 minutes. What you're doing on your time off and what you're scheduling, it should tell you everything of where you are in your life. Make sure it has a lot to do with you. The other day I had a video and some talk on about people just really stuck into their phones. And one guy, I forget, I think I even mentioned this the other day, said that He intentionally always is looking at his phone and doesn't even know what his food tastes like because it's on autopilot. We just pull out our phone, we just look at it. Instead of pulling out your phone and just looking at it, sometimes just check in with yourself. Try to stay away from too much digital distraction and news and some things like that. There's a lot of things out there that distract you from living, and and it has a big impact on our life. Let your thoughts be natural and let most of them be yours of what you want to think about when you're comfortable or you're relaxing or doing that. So we're gonna have a new. I'm taking a couple of weeks off after this week, and I'll put a video up. We're gonna be having a new series coming up, but it's gonna be a little longer one, and it's gonna get us through the summer and into fall because it's actually 14 weeks, and it's gonna help you develop a growth mindset, deal with loss, and deal with just the everyday ramifications of life. And it's going to be really good. And I had some people, two of them were in here that gave me some ideas, and I kind of collaged them together. So I'm really using the ideas of some people that come in here and watch this show who I know. Yeah, it does sound great, Alicia, right? Because you gave one of them too, and so did Farm Girl. So I'm kind of putting this collage thing together and doing some writing on, and I've got it on to about the third week right now of it. But let's stay here in the moment. This is looking forward to things. That's another thing. When we're moving forward, think of what you have to look forward to this year, whether it's a holiday, a birthday. A lot of things are gonna that we don't look forward to are coming up, but try to look forward to every part of your life because even where you don't think is so good is because that's what you think. So you bring yourself into situations and find the best in that situation. If you're hurting or failing in some parts, think and concentrate on where you're going right. And you'll notice that more things will go right. You'll have the tools to deal with adversity, which we had 1 week on of resilience, of bouncing back. Kind of like if you were born in the 70s, that little clown, you punched him and he always stood up. No matter what you did, he had more weight on the bottom. He was solid, right? So no matter hit, he always was in the upright position. And that's how our life is. And if our life was compared to a track and field event, you either have running or you run with hurdles. Remember, we in life, there's hurdles there. We got to jump over them. And we don't look back at that because then we trip on what's in forward in front of us. So what's pivotal for us in achieving our happiness is realizing that the default is really our mindset. The default is our mindset, the way that we're thinking. Our thoughts and our feelings and actions are our reality. So if you're doomed or have anxiety and a lot of these different things, it's just in your mindset. It's the way that you're thinking. You're allowing intrusive thoughts from your self-critic to let your living be robbed by what you think life is. So think of your values, think of your goals, think of the 10 weeks that we had here. Think of the 12 weeks when we were doing our autopilot. But when you do that and start thinking more about what I'm talking about, it begins a process of purpose, of having purpose in your life. The purpose in your life is to have your light shine all the time inside, not for other people to see. They'll see it, believe me. If you really practice it, and people feel like, man, you're just different. There's something different about you. You'll smile a little more. You'll be a little happier. The things that bothered you won't bother you anymore. And it'll help you to navigate more because when you start feeling some of the results, you're going to navigate a little easier through your life. You're going to realize that things are going to happen, and what's happened, especially what you beat yourself up for, that's part of your fuel. That's part of your success. Your failures in your life have let little breadcrumbs that are going to take you to the real you. When you pay attention to being the best you, when you intentionally, for real, this is what I want for myself. And it isn't money, it isn't materialistic things. It's waking up with a purpose and being gratitude to find and say hi to people and smile, not just at yourself, but other people. This is what our 10 weeks is about. This is what I teach. You're not going to get it from your boss. Sometimes you don't get it from our spouses. Sometimes you don't get that from even people at church. Your validation has to come within, and you have to shine and be there for yourself, regardless of what happens. It's on you. When you get home tonight, what went right in your life? Not, I got to pay this bill. It's almost the first of the month. Oh, God, I don't know what I do with 4th of July. I don't know if I'm going to have a cookout. Guess what I'm doing? I haven't made a plan. I might leave for a couple days. I might not. But that's my decision and my choice. I'm going to put myself where there's more peace. In the past, I would have cooked out and done everything for everybody, been worn out, and I would have enjoyed doing it, but I don't enjoy that anymore. The best part of me is becoming the me I used to be, not becoming the me. So what I'm saying is we're going to change and put ourselves in more peaceful situations. We're going to preserve our energy for people that deserve it. And let me tell you, nobody deserves your energy more than you do. The other day I was talking about when a rocket takes off to space, right? It's using all of its fuel to get to its destination. And I've given a lot of my fuel away in life. And a lot of it, fuel I gave away in life was to be liked by people. And I was in relationships and all kinds of things in my life only to be liked and to go forward and to carry on. And I'm too tired anymore. After some of the trauma and things that happened to me in my life at my age, I'm too tired to carry on with cooking and cleaning and doing everything for everybody. And I've done it to the point where I've damaged my body, where I need knees, and I've let it take away a lot of my peace. But I can find it. I can find it. And that's what I want to do. And that's what I want for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with finding your authentic self that was always hidden because you would think that nobody would like it. When actually it was us that didn't like it. It was us that didn't like the ugly side that we hoped that nobody could see. But actually that side is probably the most beautiful part of you. And you have to accept it. And it's sad because it takes some of us so long about that. Yeah, taking off the mask. It just takes so long to get there. And it's relief and it's a weight that we carry. And we know what the problem is, but we don't want to confront it. You get to a point in life where instead of walking around, jumping over, or going under fears, you got to walk through them. You got to do it because that's the only thing that's going to show you the other side of your life that you were always afraid to live. When you come out as yourself, you make yourself greater. And that's the foundation of becoming even better and better and better. And you do it for you. This is the one time chance that you get where you're going to make the change of what you're afraid to do for you. Not others, not worrying about reactions, not worrying about hurt. People will still come around. You make the change for your life through the journaling and discovering who you are, and you stay strong. So there's work to do. We got to do work. And it's what somebody just said. It's about taking off the mask. It's actually really not just that. It's about being who you really are and being honest without people saying that's not politically correct or you can't do that. This isn't nice. This is like, you know the rules. You know the rules. The rules are be your authentic self. You have the right to have an opinion. You have a right to talk. And most of all, you have a right to be yourself. So as we're finishing up our week 10 of 10, moving forward, we got to reflect back. We got to see where we lost a lot of our energy. What was hard on us? What took us away from being ourselves? It all is right up in here. It's all these narratives that we've written, all these coping mechanisms that we built up, and everything we did so we can smile again at ourselves, so we can feel better about ourselves. Because if you don't, it's going to make you sick. You'll be like me walking with a cane, not feeling good, griping about everything. But you've got to sometime take the time to make the change and start making it. Make yourself the person that you can be. And I think that a lot of us are hiding different parts of our personality because of these narratives and these coping mechanisms. To be your authentic self. You could probably be the best you that nobody else could be. So don't try to be somebody else because everybody's taken. And be kind to yourself and be good to yourself and realize that you're a beautiful person no matter what. And wake up with some purpose. Wake up with intentions. Wake up with some goals. And what this takes is courage, and this takes effort. It takes effort. You're so welcome, Alicia. And Alicia, I'm only going to be taking a small break, and I'm using your ideas as part of our next 14-week series, which is going to take us into fall, which I think is pretty cool. And we're going to make this happen. And we can do this as a community and a self together, and we have ourselves to lean on. So as you leave here today, just, give yourself a smile and a pat on the back. And make sure you're giving yourself the time it takes to be you. If you want to work on something, consider yourself as a little piece of wood that you're whittling. And you're just constantly perfecting yourself. You're molding yourself into the way that you would like to see yourself, not what others. I have some people in my life that are hard to talk about how I am, how I feel, because I always direct it to something else and not really see the real me. But that's okay, because when you're becoming yourself, you're going to deal with only you and not what other people say. So I want you to know today that you have purpose. You have something to think about. We're going to move forward. We had a good 10 weeks together, especially the people that were here all the time, the new followers that we got. And I do this to help you out, and I hope that you had a good show. I wasn't really late this morning. I couldn't get anything working. So I just want everyone to have a good day today. I'll see you on Friday. I'm going to watch today's episode sometime and see what I missed. And on Friday, we'll talk about what our next series is going to be, which will probably start the last Tuesday of July. So we're just going to be off. But I don't know how else to go live other than have a series. So that's the only thing I know. Maybe we can all think of something. I just made myself laugh because I rely on other people to help do this. So hope everybody has a good day today. Be good to yourself. Have a great, I'll see you before 4th of July. Have a great week.